When we talk about the future of content, one of the things that rises to the top for me is the impact of mobile. And, a lot of people consider mobile to be a necessary evil at this point. I look at it as the primary screen. It's what we have to think about first. Rather than looking at how do we make versions of our content that are good for mobile, it's how do we make a good engagement experience for mobile, period. It's not about translating something from the web. It's going to be about developing specifically for the mobile device. And when we look at some growing marketplaces where the transition has not been made from TV to desktop to laptop to mobile, they've gone straight from TV to mobile. That's the only platform. And as global marketers, we have to be very aware of the screens that we're going to have our content viewed on and make sure that we're addressing the needs of those audiences first. Audience needs are not going to change, but the devices in their hands are going to change, and how they interact with those devices is going to change. So when we talk about how people consume media today, I feel like we're, as an industry, years behind reacting to what the audience is already doing. When I look at the future, it worries me a little bit because we're seeing the audiences way out in front of the storytellers and how they're consuming information. And this is very different than the way it's been in the past. When you go back through the history of film, the history of TV, the history of radio, the content producers had a very fixed engagement pattern, if you would. They had a very fixed model. We don't have that fixed model anymore. Our audiences are out doing things with content that we never dreamed they would do with our content. And to be most effective, we have to catch up to them. One of the things that we have to watch in terms of how content and engagement change in the future is the development of social systems that change the way that we interact. So Twitter, 7 years ago, changed the way that we thought about how to write a message. 140 character limit, no more, no less, that's what we have. Vine, 6-second videos. I'm seeing this get picked up by a younger generation, the same people who are picking up Instagram. It's a new way to communicate. Instagram, it's almost like digital hieroglyphics, back and forth. Vine, these very short, very concise video messages. It's not about sitting down and having a 2 or 3 hour engagement like we think about content today. It's not about trying to make films. It's not about trying to make TV. It's about trying to understand how our users are consuming content and make these bite-sized pieces that will relate not just to how they live now, but how they're going to live as mobile becomes even more pervasive. I'm Rob Davis, Executive Director of the Content Marketing Practice at Ogilvy One, and these are Scrubber Bar Stories.